Oh, actually, I've just realised you kind of match my daffodil stabiliser, and I'm pretty sure at the time he talked about Decavil or Decavil Light because he uses it a lot in his bags, and he said my top tip is to do just what you said, press it, and it needs steam, but Decavil, or a damp cloth, or you could use your best press, and then leave it overnight to totally cool down.
I think Kim Silliman always has advocated that if you stick on a product, iron on a product, and then use it straight away, it's not. That's why you get lumps and bumps in it, because you haven't given the glue time to set.
Yeah.
So
interesting, isn't it?
The trouble is we're busy and we want to get it done, and we're anxious to get it done, and we think, oh, it'll be fine, and then it probably makes us more work. But I'm hoping this is going to be all right tonight, because I stuck this on early this morning.
Oh, so I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. It's just worth mentioning, I think, Kath.
I think you're right. It is worth mentioning to be patient with it, and if you get a chance to do it the evening before, or leave it a couple of hours, go and have a coffee, go and have some lunch.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Go and have a cream tea. I'm having a cream tea tomorrow, so I can't wait for that. Angela says she made the mistake of using Decavil, standard Decavil, instead of Decavil Light in a handbag. What a nightmare to turn through. And absolutely, yeah, you're right. And all of these things have their places, and sometimes it's we have to make a couple of mistakes to learn from it, don't we? So right. Well,
in fact, I don't keep Decavil Light now. Decavil Ordinary now. What I've had, I've used up, and I don't buy it anymore. There's no point.
No, I don't think it's necessary.
The thing is, if it was something that really needed to be rigid, you could always put Decavil on the lining, Decavil Light on the lining and the outer, or even two lots, as long as you follow the instructions. But
exactly. Yeah, we learn to get around these things, don't we?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. So, are you ready to get started?
I'm ready to get started. Yes. Just say hello to everybody, because I haven't even said hello properly yet. But I can see everybody's commenting, so that's nice. So hello, everybody.
Right. That's that job ticked. Right. Oh,
that's it.
Hold on. Have I got the right mouse? Yeah. I'm trying to. Hold on, bear with. I just need to adjust this somehow. I'm looking at the wrong screen. I am a twit sometimes. Right, okay. I've made you big, Kath.
You've made me big?
Yes.
Well, just as I was looking to one side there whilst you made me big, so I do apologise, but I've got my laptop here to my right, I can see comments better there than once I've turned my phone down. I can't see anything. But I just did see an angry face, and I know it's a mistake. So if you press the like or the heart button instead, it will take that angry face away. If you didn't know that, that's fine. But if you've got your fingers in the wrong place,
that's
don't be angry with me. I haven't started yet.
It has gone. Somebody's realised.
It has gone. Somebody's realised. So that's lovely. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to try and get the camera into the right spot, and then we will make a start. Okay? Right, bear with me. A hand in the way. And then I just need a bit of feedback as to whether you can see. It's still a bit wonky, I think.
Looks great. Looks really good.
Okay, so there we are. You can see that I've got my bits and pieces beside me here. And so we're going to, here's the pattern. So here's Farrah. And you will notice that Farrah is a wallet with a zip and a pocket behind it and some card pockets. And you will probably notice as well, if you're well versed with Lizzy's patterns, that Farrah is very much like Archie. Lizzy and I was sat chatting a couple of weekends ago, and we were talking about some plans and what we were going to do. And I pulled out my purse, and she said, "Oh, it's Archie." And so the conversation went from there. And I will tell you the little bit of conversation in a minute once I've started. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do the zip. And this zip, there's a zip in Archie as well, but it's much different to the way we put in this one. This is far simpler. So I've done the one end. We've put in zip tabs on the zip. So cut your zip according to the instructions in the pattern, and I've put a zip tab on the other end. And I've also put on some quilter's tape, if you can see that. Is that close enough in? Because it looks very far away from me.
Well, I think it looks fine, Kath. Well, perhaps everybody else can say.
If you need me to zoom in a bit, then I know how to do that now.
Hey!
So I've put some quilter's tape on the end of my zip here. You can only just see that bit, I think, but you'll see that I've put it on both sides. And these are the zip tabs, and I'm just going to pop that one on so that raw edge of the zip is in line with the raw edge of the zip tab, and you can see that it's too wide, which is intentional. So if I turn it over, it's kind of in the middle, and it doesn't have to be in the middle, but it is easier if it's in the middle. So that's the one part done. So I've got the right side of the zip and the right side of the fabric together, and then I'm going to just pull the back off this bit and do the same with the other one. So right side of the fabric to the zip again, even though now this is the wrong side of the zip, and just make a sandwich. So if you can see there, I've got the sandwich of the zip in the middle of the two tabs. And I'm going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch down that side. I've already done that, and I've put a little bit of quilter's tape in there to hold it together. Okay, so I'll bring you the machine in. Bear with me a minute because there's a bit of delay on what I can see. So I'll just have to...
It looks fine, Kath.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, it looks great.
Right, so. Okay, so we're going to do 1/4 of an inch seam, and we're going to go down the end, the zip end. Obviously, not that end. Okay? No need to do a back stitch because we're going to cut the end off in a bit. Okay, I'm going to push that away again a little bit. So what we can see here is that I've stitched along there, and just take my bits of thread away, and then I'm going to fold those back. I'm just going to finger press those for now. You can pop your iron on if you like and iron those. And some people might want to top stitch down here, but I haven't done it. If you have a look at Farrah, you can see here that a top stitch would hardly be seen. I'll bring that up a bit closer.
It's not worth it, is it, really?
It would hardly be seen. It's about 1/4 of an inch that you can see. It's not worth it. There's no point. And going over that zip again, there's just really no point. So I haven't top stitched. If you want to, then go for it. So what I've done here, this is my one piece of my pocket, and this is the other piece of my pocket, and the zip is going to go in between. So I've measured the middle and marked it, and I don't know whether you can see with that zip as well. I've got little notches either side, and that's the center of the zip.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do first of all is to put the one side on. So where I've measured here, I'm going to do it backwards for me so that you can see. This is where we're going to place it. And I'm going to measure up that little notch there with that little mark there. I'm going to put some quilter's tape on it just to make it easier. If I can find the end, I can do it. So I'm going to go all the way along right into the tab. The tab will make the zip panel, if you like, slightly too long, but we're going to trim it all in a minute. Actually, what I am going to do before I do this, which I forgot to do straight away, because I don't always, is I am going to trim the width of this. So that little bit there, just trim off to the width of the zip.
Lovely and neat.
Do this one again. It just does make it neat, doesn't it? Do it like this.
Super.
And it makes it easy. It's not difficult at all, this. So here we go. The difficult part about this is taking the paper off the quilter's tape, I always find.
Yeah.
When somebody is watching me, or a few people, or 130. So there's my little, you can't see it possibly, but there's my little nick in my zip. Here's my mark where the centre is, and I'm going to bring that up. I'll do it, and then I'll bring it closer to the camera for you if you can't see. There we go. I'm going to open that zip a little bit from there so that I can get this bit actually nice and square on. So you can see I've got the right side of the fabric to the right side of the zip, and those raw edges are all nice and lined up. Don't worry about the tabs too much. That one's stuck down to itself, but I haven't done that one. And then what I'm going to do is use my, I've got my tiny little foot on. Use your own zipper foot, and we're going to sew there. We're going to sew with probably about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, because we don't want to be too close to the zip teeth. Okay. So you can see there. So I'm going right from the top, so 1/4 of an inch right from the outside down the whole side of the zip. And I'm going from this side because I've got my zip teeth sticking out. That's the right side of the zip there, and it's easier. So I'm lining up with my 1/4 of an inch on here, and so I know I've got it in the right place. Okay, so here we go. And I'm coming to the zip pull. Then I'm going to push the zip pull back out of the way. There we go. And all the way down then to the end. Just get that nice and straight.
Elaine is asking if the fabric is Lewis and Irene Bumbleberry.
This is definitely Bumbleberry. I can't remember the name of this one because there's a few different reds, I think.
Yeah.
But this is definitely Bumbleberry. So all I'm going to do with... Sorry. Yeah, this lovely fabric, and it tends to go with everything, to be honest. It's really pretty. And I thought I'd put a purple zip in because, of course, our theme for this month is still purple, pink, and red.
It is, yeah.
So I'm just going to finger press that back, and I'm going to do exactly the same the other side. I wasn't going to push that out the way, but I will push it a bit out of the way. So just push that back out of the way and do exactly the same this side. So I'll turn it round again and just show you that there's my little mark. I'm going to put quilter's tape again like I did last time. You don't have to use quilter's tape. If you would rather pin or clip or just go for it, then you do that. I just find that the few seconds it takes me to put quilter's tape on and get the paper off saves me time later. And here's my little mark, and I'm going to put that right on top of that mark there, but I'm going to double check, and that's exactly in the right place now.
Lovely and neat.
Just double check the ends as well. Sorry?
It's lovely and neat.
Yes, it is lovely and neat doing it this way. I don't think it's particularly because of me. I think it's because it's a very, very neat, gives you a very good outcome, this technique, so it's lovely.
Especially
and
with
if you're a beginner, this is a great idea.
I agree, and even if you're a beginner and you think, oh gosh, that's a lot of faffing about with zip tabs and things like that, but actually it makes your life easier, doesn't it, putting it in the seams at the sides and all of that sort of thing.
It does, and the finish that you get is much nicer. It's much more even on the edges, and it is an awful lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
Put my slider out of the way. So what I'm doing is leaving my needle in and bringing it round so that this foot is not in the way, and then I can easily bring my slider back to that end.
Yeah.
And then I can go all the way down then without bothering to do it again. Okay, so push the machine away for a bit. So here we are. I'm going to do my zip up. Here we are with that, and I'm going to give it a press. Just turn my iron on. Whoops, caught my iron in my ruler then. Sorry about the noise.
Can you, Kath? Can you show us on Farrah where this actual pocket sits? Can you give us a visual on that?
Yes, of course. So that is Farrah folded. This is Farrah unfolded, and the pocket sits right at the edge of the lining. So we have the pocket here for coins. I can show you coins or whatever.
You've got money.
Got coins.
Oh.
Got coins. I think they're foreign. No, they're not. I've got coins. I've got about £5 in there.
What?
And then the way we do it like this, when you've got, this has got different fabric on the inside, it's got lining fabric and outer fabric. You can see I'm using the same fabric on this one. Doesn't matter what you use. You can use lots of different fabrics if you like. And then you can just pop your notes or your receipts or,
yeah,
I don't know, your tickets, whatever you want in there.
Yeah.
So this is where Farrah is sitting on the pocket is sitting on Farrah on the one side, and then you've got your card pockets on the other side.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
That's fine. So I'm just going to give this a little press because we're now going to go down and top stitch, and we want that away from the zip because we don't want to be fumbling with our coins and our zip caught in our fabrics when we come to it. Okay, so back in again, and I'm just going to do, my little foot helps me to do this really close. I'm going to turn up my stitch length to about 3, and then I'm just going all the way down the side of the zip.
Nicola says she was £1 short today for parking when the card reader failed. She said, I had a few euros, but the machine said no. Oh, gosh, Nicola, whatever did you do? Oh.
See, that's all very well having a card machine and everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when something fails, and technology always does,
yeah,
then we go back to paper and money, don't we?
Back to basics, yeah.
Yeah.
Emma reckons the coins are for your sweeties.
No, the notes are for my sweeties. I wouldn't have enough sweeties if I used coins. Emma, I thought you knew me better than that.
Aim big, aim big.
I very rarely use cash now.
I know. I think
very rarely.
I think because of what we've been through over the last couple of 3 years, we've kind of got used to just paying by card for just about everything, regardless.
Yeah, indeed. But I was speaking to a gentleman, an elderly gentleman in the shop who was serving me the other day, and he said it's much safer, much better for me. I don't have to go to the bank with loads of cash.
Yes, of course.
I think if he was 80, he was a day, and he said, you know, carrying it and the safety aspect. So it's fors and against.
Yeah.
So there's our zip installed. Wasn't that easy?
Super.
Nice and neat. And you can see that I've trimmed the edges of the zip tabs now. So, and that zip is nice and central. So going on from you asking me where it was on the purse or the wallet, I'm now going to put it onto the lining. So we're going to line up these raw edges, fold the pocket in half with the wrong sides together.
Yeah.
And I just pinned that for a second so that I can get it nice and flat. If you want to put the iron on there, you can. As we want the zip on the top, we don't want it like that, and we don't want it like that. We want it nicely along the top, as much as you can. You know, nobody's going to come along and double check you. And then we're going to line up the raw edges at that one side. Now, this is a square, so it doesn't matter which one for now, but we're going to line up with those raw edges at the bottom. Use my pins to just hold that in place for a second. And then I'm going to base this in place. So I'm going to do an 1/8 of an inch sewing line all the way from the top of the pocket. So just squash those down. They'll just go down, they'll fold in half like that, those zip tabs. Fold them in half, squash them down, and I'm going to base just beyond the pocket here, all the way around. Okay, so we'll do that now.
Okay.
Again, about an 1/8 of an inch, if you can do that. It doesn't have to be an 1/8 of an inch, but if you can get it less than 1/4 of an inch, it will be neater for you when you're doing your assembling a bit later. And there again, stitch length of 3 is fine for basting. You could even do it longer if you wanted to. So again, poke that zip tab in half. Sew along to just beyond it. Make sure it's nice and neat with the edge. There, we've done our pocket.
Super.
So that was really simple, wasn't it? Really nice and easy. So I'm going to, you can see now that I always put it on back to front because I find it easier. I don't know why, but there's no right or wrong way. I think the traditional way is when the zip is closed to have the zip tab on the left, but I always find it easier to do it that way. It's probably because I'm right-handed, and there we go. Okay, so what we have in the next part of this is 3 pockets to put on. These are for the cards, and they're obviously going to go in the opposite direction to the zipped purse. And this again is different to Archie. The whole thing is different to Archie, and this is a different size. And these are different because they are constructed differently to the ones in Archie, and it's not any simpler, it's just slightly different. So I've folded them in half and I've given them a good press. If you want to top stitch along that folded line, then do that. Again, I haven't bothered. And then the pattern tells you where to measure up from the raw edge, so the opposite raw edge to the pocket, not along the side, obviously opposite. And it tells you where to measure and mark for the first pocket. So we're going to pop that on that line that I've drawn. So I've done that with a heat erasable pen, but you don't have to do it with a heat erasable pen. Any pen will do because it's going to be deep inside. And so if I show you with this one, this will be this pocket at the back. You see, because there's 3 of them. And if I take these cards out, you'll be able to see there's space for 3 cards. So the one that we're doing now is the pocket at the back, okay? So, and what I'm going to do is stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance all along the pocket raw edge, okay? All right.
So Farah, I think from memory, Kath, isn't Farah a little bit bigger than Archie?
Yes, it is. Archie's not quite a square, so I've made it a tiny bit bigger and squared it up.
Yeah.
And it works. I can show you my old purse, but I'm a bit ashamed of it because it's so dirty.
Well, I think that's not. I was going to say that's what started the conversation, but that's not what I mean. That it was dirty, but I could see that it was well loved.
I did apologise to you. I said, and you said, "Oh, is that Archie?" I said, "Yes, I think this was the first thing that I ever made of Lizzie's." And I said, "Look at it now, though; it's so dirty." And then we decided that it would be a good thing if we if we modernise the pattern and
100%.
brought it a little bit more up to date and changed a couple of aspects. So that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. You can see there if I leave that there, because I'm just going straight back to it, can't you? You can see that for a minute. Yeah. Okay, so we've got our first pocket on. I haven't done anything down the sides yet because we'll be doing that in a minute. But all I've done is stitch 1/4 inch seam allowance along that raw edge. Pocket number 2 is going to be exactly the same, but you see this line that I've drawn there? A little bit further down. And this is the middle pocket. So again, pop a pin in either side, just stops it moving about a little bit, but you don't have to. In fact, I think I'll put them here instead. That's probably best as I'm sewing down there. And again, 1/4 inch seam allowance down that raw edge.
June says she thinks she needs some new pins, Kath. They look a bit bent. Those Taylor Seville pens, they do bend, but you can actually straighten them up ever so easily, can't you?
You can. I've got a whole pile in there and I won't use them because they're straight and I don't want to bend them.
Lovely.
They do bend quite easily because they're fine, but they can bend back.
Yes, I find them absolutely wonderful. I wouldn't be without them. I always seek them out if I want a pin.
Oh, absolutely. I've got plenty of other pins here. Look, I've got long built-in pins. I don't know what they were from, but you couldn't see that then. But they're really long and I always stab myself with them. I can't be doing with that.
Yeah.
So pocket number 2 is on the top. So we've got pocket number 1, pocket number 2. Okay. And then guess what? Pocket number 3 goes on the bottom, lined up with the actual raw edge. Oh, look at that.
You see, June will have her eye on you now, Kath. There'll be no escape. But they do bend back really easily. So, you know...
they do bend back really easy. But what I was going to say was I'm quite happy to give out my address if anybody wants to send me any.
Yeah. Gosh.
Not Taylor Seville. Nobody'd want to do that because they're too expensive. But they are the best, I think.
I think they are too. I think they're super.
I love them, to be honest. I really do. So again, 1/4 inch-ish. No more than, because a little bit less on that's fine. Okay, so we have 3 pockets on that side, and we're now going to find the middle. So I'll find my ruler, and I'll find my heat erasable ink pen. So I'll put a little mark at the top there. Then I'll put a little mark at the bottom. I think that was right. Yeah. Join those up. Just a dotted line will do. And I'm going to stitch from top to bottom, or indeed from bottom to top. Doesn't really matter. Probably best to stitch from bottom to top, and then you don't get a little crease there if you happen to be a bit out. So I'm going to go from the bottom to the top, just beyond the pocket. All along that dotted line. So 1 stitch beyond the pocket and a couple of back stitches. And there you've got a really neat line to separate your pockets.
Looks great.
So the next part about that then, just take my bits of pen away, you can see. Please do use a board, not like me. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to baste down the sides. If you want to, this bottom line you can do whilst you're basting down the sides. You don't have to do it separately, but I find that it or otherwise baste all the way around and then do this. It just keeps it into like, there's no right or wrong way, just do it, you know, however you feel is best for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 1/8 of an inch up this side. And then I'd prefer not to, but I need to see where I'm going. I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch down. So make sure you've popped your pockets all nice and flat. I think I'll use my stiletto for this. It makes it lovely and easy.
Good idea.
There we go. So the pockets are now in place, and you can see that there's plenty of room for your cards in there. So if I pop that in, they look slightly big, but once you've got 3 or 4 cards in, I think this was the problem with my other one as well, is that little bit of extra space that we've given it here means that you've got more card space.
Yeah, good idea.
So, yeah. Okay, so that's that. That was good, wasn't it? That was quick.
Yeah.
The next thing we're going to do is to bring in our outer piece. So here's my outer fabric. And here I've got my tab. And this is my outer fabric. So the first thing I'm going to do is to sort out the tab. And the tab has Velcro on it. So this is the loop part. It's the soft part. So what I've done with the tab, you can see here, if I just take that off a second, I've just done it ready to show you. So what I've done with the tab, it is slightly rectangular. So with the short ends, I've folded over 1/4 of an inch on both sides and given that a really good press with some best press or some starch, whatever. Then I folded the tab in half, and then I folded the halves to the middle. Fold it over, and our normal thing to do now with a tab or a handle or anything of this ilk would be to top stitch all the way around. So what I'm going to do is to put the soft part of my Velcro or hook and loop, whatever you prefer to call it, right in the center there. So you can see that's kind of right on the edge, but I'm going to pull it back by about, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch. So not quite on the edge. And then equidistant from the 2 sides, pop a pin in, if you can.
Everybody's loving the project, Kath.
Sorry?
Everybody's loving the project. They're saying what a lovely project. They're going to all try it.
Good. Well, you should give it a go, because I think it looks a little bit daunting sometimes when you see patterns like this, because there's lots of bits to them, but believe me, they are great. They are great. So I'm going to top stitch all around the tab now, and I'm going to catch in this end. So the top stitching will be nearer into the middle than I would normally do, but that's fine. It looks really neat. And I don't want to go stitching the Velcro on by, doing another line of stitching. Okay. So carry on all the way round.
So just as a show of hands, who's going to make it? Let's have a yes in the comments, because it'd be interesting for Kath to see afterwards how many people think they'll probably give this a go, because I know we can't always come up with everybody's ideal pattern, but we like to think that most people are going to like it. So we've got lots of yeses coming up now, Kath. So when you finish the live, I know you always look at the comments, but it'd be worth you having a little look at this, because they're all saying they'll go for it.
Absolutely. I'll follow you up there and I'll keep you to it. No, I won't. But it would be lovely if I could see some photographed, and it would be nice. It always brings me joy to think that you've liked it.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we're never complacent.
No, absolutely not, no. So you will notice that I've gone around all 4 sides, and this part of the hook and loop hasn't been stitched. But I haven't stitched the one on mine either, and it really is strong enough not to worry about that, because I don't really want a line across there. I'm already going to have to box this down in a minute, so I don't want too much stitching on it. If you feel safer putting a line of stitching along that edge as well, then go for it. If you've got matching stitching, matching thread, you're not really going to see very much of it. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see this, but along here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I'll do it a bit darker because it's come off a little bit. So if you can see.
Yeah, we can see that.
See that little cross?
Yeah.
That's the centre there. And that's, I can't remember. It must be an inch by the look of it down, but it says in the pattern. And that's where I'm going to put this, this tab. So there's my cross. I'm going to go centrally on that. I still got a little bit of a thread there. So by Q you can go. And this is the right side of my fabric. This is the wrong side of my tab, so Velcro down. And I'm going to place it there. And if you want to use a bit of quilter's tape, do that. You can use a couple of clips, or you can use some pins. Just depends on how you work and what you prefer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a box. I'm going to go over the original stitching that I made there. And I'm just going to sew a box, no more than 3/8 of an inch. So somewhere between 3/4 and 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to sew a box like that. Can you see?
Super.
All right. And that's going to secure my tab in place. So go really gently, just carefully, so that you get your stitching nicely on the lines. And I find that drawing the lines in really helps. Take my clip off now because it's getting in my way. Make sure your tab is nice and straight, 90-degree angle to the top of the fabric. Put that one away as well. Around your box shape, back to where you started. Instead of doing a back stitch, just do one little stitch or two over the top. I'll grab my iron so you can see. I'll take off the pen mark.
Kath, while you're just giving that an iron, can I welcome our new members, please?
Yes, of course. Carry on.
Thank you. So every week Nicola gives us a little list of all the new members, and there's tons and tons of information in her post. So if you ever wonder, you know, what to expect from the group and where you should look for stuff, if you look for Nicola's post every Thursday, she lists it all. It's all there. I mean, sometimes we tend to sort of skim read these things, but in actual fact, we can do a quick sort of hello. I'm just going to remove your pin there just for a moment, Kath. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I've made you small.
No.
Sorry. We can welcome this week 4 new members. We've got Suzanne, we've got Heather, we've got Vic, and we've got Lois. So welcome to all of you. And I think in the comments of tonight, I'm sure I've seen Lois' comment, which is just wonderful, because sometimes it takes a little while for new members to get into the rhythm of what we do in the group. For us, it's kind of second nature, and it's, you know, we do it, and that's what every Thursday at 7, and this, that, and the other, and we get so used to that routine. But of course, newer members, they don't know about that. They haven't got into that routine yet, and so it's just lovely that that people join in almost immediately on their first week. So I would just like to say welcome, welcome, welcome to all of the lovely new members. We love having you in the group. It's a real treat, and I hope you enjoy staying here for as long as you want to stay here for, and learn something and enjoy just the company and the social aspect of the Facebook group. It's just wonderful. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll make you big now, Kath.
Welcome to everybody. That's all right. Make me big. I'm big enough. So you can see what I've done. I've done the little box round there, which means that I can push that back out of the way. And when I'm sewing this one with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I can get past that little box. Okay. So the next thing to do is to put our hook Velcro, so the nylon-y type one, the hard one. And I've done exactly the same here. I've found the centre. you won't see the pen mark, I don't think, but you can see that I've put a little piece of quilter's tape on my pen mark, and that is for me to pop that in place right in the centre there. Now, it's not going to hold it, but it's going to hold it while I stitch it. So makes it a bit easier. Okay. So I'm just going to stitch as close as I can to the edge of that Velcro all the way round.
And it's not difficult to stitch through, is it, Kath?
No, it's not. Sometimes your stitches, if you go right on the very edge of the hooks, as it were, sometimes your stitches look a bit wiggly.
Yes.
But they're still strong.
Yes. It's funny how that works. I suppose because of the hooks are kind of pushing the needle, perhaps, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it just looks a little bit wiggly. I'll show you now as I've done it, and you can see what I mean. It's not going to matter. It really doesn't matter.
No.
Just trying to get rid of my thread there. So you can look at those. That's really not my wiggly stitching, I promise. So we have our hook, and we have our loop. We have our pockets. We have our pocket, and it's all we need to do now is to put it together. So I've told you on the pattern, and I'm going to double check what I told you because I need to tell you the same thing now.
Can I ask you something, Kath?
Yes, of course.
Is the Decaville light on the lining or the outer?
It's on the outer.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't tell you that I'd done that, but I did prepare
That's okay.
that on that side. And I've used F220 with this as well, stabilizer on the pockets. I didn't on the card pockets because there's no need to, but on this pocket I did.
Yeah.
And I took that right up to the edges, but this is about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. All right?
Right, okay.
So I'm going to double check. What did I say? The tab should be on the zipped pocket end and the hook on the card pocket end. So if you want it like this, where as you let me do it as you would, as you open it, if you want your zip on that side, your zip pocket on that side, your cards on that side, do it as I'm doing it now. If you want them on the other side because you're left-handed or whatever, you prefer it, then do it the opposite way around to the pattern. Neither is wrong, it's just how it is. So what did I say? My memory.
I do exactly the same.
Somebody tell me what I'm doing. The tab should be on the zipped pocket. So here's the tab. So fabric right side up, zipped pocket, lining right side down. So we've got the zipped pocket and the tab on the same side. And I'm just going to use some clips to put that in.
Yeah, clip it before you forget.
Yeah.
And you move it, and then it will be the tab will be on the side instead of the end.
I won't know where I am, will I? I'm going to put the zip slider up to the middle because then it doesn't cause a problem when I'm stitching round.
Oh, good.
So
good advice.
I put a couple of clips in, and we're going to stitch all the way round, but we're going to leave a turning gap somewhere between these pockets. Now you can see there's not very much space. Doesn't matter if you go over one of the pockets and a little bit there, but if you go over the pockets too far, it makes the turning gap difficult to fold to close up.
Yeah.
So we're probably only going to have about 2 inches, but you know, it's just patience then. So we've nearly finished. It's 10 to 8. And I'm going to start from my pin as I've clipped it and finish at my pin. I might come down a little bit further with that one. So that is just a couple of inches. So bear with me, it will actually work. Okay? What I am going to do for this is... No, I'm not. I was going to put my other foot on, but I'm not going to bother because I can use my machine. if you've got a walking foot and you're afraid of the bulk, it's not that bulky, but if you're afraid of the layers, then a walking foot will really help. I do love my walking foot, but I'm not going to spend time now putting it on tonight. I'm gonna... Okay. Just go slowly over the pockets because there's some bulk there. And we're going to stitch on the line that we put our pocket on. If you can see, our final pocket we stitched on that line, and we're going to stitch over that line again.
Good idea. Paula says it's quite an involved little make. Your tips are very useful for which way round. I will probably rewatch when I make. I mean, oh gosh, Paula, yes, you can watch as much or as little as you want. It's always around. It'll be always in the Facebook group here. And at the end of the month, which is only next week, our Jackie Grant will actually be putting it in the files. So very, very easy to find. And that's the files here on Facebook. And of course, it's always on the Gold Members TV in the members page. So whether you're gold or platinum, it's always on the Gold Members TV on the members page. So there's never any worries about where to find it. Really, there's not.
Sorry about the rattling.
We couldn't hear any rattling because I was chatting.
That's good. There's always one more stitch.
Oh, there's always one more, Kath.
Now then, Lizzy, while I'm just finishing this off, I do have a giveaway tonight.
Whoa!
Have a look to see. Yes, while I'm just here and you've got this angle.
Yes.
This is a 1/2 metre of fabric.
Cool.
How pretty is that?
Beautiful.
Isn't that pretty? It's really lovely. I don't know what it is. I can't remember.
It's
but
gorgeous.
It's a 1/2 metre of fabric.
I love it.
I'm going to randomly take one of you and send you that as a giveaway.
So you've all got to say something now. We've got 135 people watching, Kath. So I need 135 people to say hello. Or something.
I'd like that fabric, please.
Yes.
No, you don't have to say that, but anything. If you haven't commented already, you need to.
Yes, you do, because we can't pick a name if there's nothing been said in the comments. So and everybody's saying beautiful fabric, fabulous fabric, such pretty material. That love that fabric, Kath. Such pretty. Loads and loads of people are saying that. So just say that.
I think somebody earlier on, I just noticed as you were, hello or something, thanks Steve, somebody said about my pretty fabric. Now, I'm not sure if they meant this one. If this is the one you're after, this is a Tell Me Who She Is. I said to you who it is, didn't I? She's always does sludgy, lovely, pretty.
Lynette Anderson.
Lynette Anderson. Oh, just terrible. So that's Lynette Anderson. And actually, so is that. They're in the same bundle.
Yeah.
So that's that. This one on the outside, on the inside, as you so rightly said, is
Bumbleberries,
Lewis and Irene. And on the outside is Anna Maria Horner.
I love it how you struggle like me to have at least one brain cell working.
I can't even remember famous actors, you know. Who sang this? Oh, it's that bloke that will give me a clue, you know. And it turns out to be Frank Sinatra or something very famous.
We're all guilty of that, aren't we? Oh, it's hopeless.
Dear, I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. So we've finished our stitching. Look at all these ends, but they'll be inside. So
yes, we
the fabric sprayed a little bit. So I'm just going to trim my corners off a little bit. Now, you are going to have to be, unless you're a genius or you've got more patience than I have, you are going to have to be a little bit satisfied with not quite pointed square edges. If you try and get pointed square edges, look at these are rounded, and I actually don't mind them like that.
No, I think that's what you have to settle for. So many layers.
If you try and get square, you'll poke something through it. See, look how small that is.
Yeah.
And I might have difficulty, but we're going to have a go.
Right, well, tell you what, let's not just stare at you. Let me put you on small screen.
Yeah.
And I will dominate for 5 minutes. Because obviously our Jackie Thomas has sent me a list and I will get severely reprimanded. I won't, I promise I won't. Jackie's not like that. She's a very kind lady. Sometimes you open your mouth and you wish you hadn't said something. But anyway, she sent me the list. She said, new members, done it, Jackie. We've welcomed the new members. The new Platinum project. So if you are a Platinum member, go to the Platinum page. And I've done one little tiny video on the first step. And I think we've got about 10 pictures in the album, the Platinum Project album. Even if you're a gold member, you can go and have a look and see what we're up to. And this weekend, hopefully, probably Sunday, I'll do video number 2 of the next stage. Now, nobody anywhere, including kind of me, I know where we're going with it, knows what this is going to end up looking like, okay? So it's kind of a build-up over the next 3 or 4 weeks, perhaps longer, I'm not sure yet. So I know where we're heading, I know what it looks like in my head, so that's where we're going. So I'm sorry if you could ever see in my head, you'd be totally confused. Anyway, well, video 2 should be on the Platinum page probably Sunday, like I say. So look out for that. And it's going to be lovely. Honestly, trust me, it's going to be lovely. Children in Need, don't forget, Children in Need, we're going to launch the new bag on Tuesday. I won't launch it here, I'll launch it on my page. So you know my page is Lizzy Curtis, so I shall be there launching the new Children in Need pattern. So if you haven't bought January and February yet, then please go and buy those bears. I think we're up to about £800 already, so we're on target to get sort of, I don't know, £5,000 maybe this year, so which is incredible. And then of course the new patterns. So after Kath for her sins is doing the Making It Monday project on Monday on my page, she's going to be demonstrating, and straight after that, as soon as she's finished, I'll be watching, so I'll know when Kath has finished. I will hop onto here, the group, and I will show you the new patterns. I'm really quite excited about them, actually. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you will be as well. So I'll be doing a launch with you on Monday night at 8 o'clock-ish to launch the new patterns. We have a little look-see. So don't forget to download the February patterns because obviously they disappear in a cloud of smoke come well, not even midnight. Kath and I tend to do it about, well, I suppose it will be about 9 o'clock Monday night. I'll do it. Kath can go to bed. Yes, and oh yes, and the other.
I'll still be doing this on Monday night.
So we're not talking. We're ignoring you. We're ignoring you.
Ignore me.
That way. Yeah.
It went much easier when I did it myself.
Yes, you'll get there. Don't you worry. Yeah, you'll be fine. It makes your thumbs strong.
Might it be by 8 o'clock, but I'm not saying which 8 o'clock.
Yes, exactly. I didn't even know there was 2 8 o'clocks in a day. Somebody had to tell me the other day there was. And also, if you're an oldie goldie and you've been with me for nearly 4 years, which is just incredible, and I know there's a few of you that have, and thank you very, very much. You will have seen and had every pattern made and launched over that period of time. However, if you're not a golden oldie, you may not have seen all of the patterns. And every Friday, Kath and Jackie get together and they work out special offers for the next week. So every Friday, one of the patterns gets changed into a weekly special offer. And if on the homepage you see the special offer box, click that and you'll always see, I mean, you'll get an email from Kath and you should see it. I think it's on my page. You see that there's a new special offer, but it's always worth a mention because it could just be that pattern that you've been looking for and waiting and thinking, well, yes, I don't want to pay $5.99, so I'll wait for a special offer. Well, Fridays is quite a good day for that. And of course, there's always 2 other patterns that are on special offer all month. So really that's aimed at the new people rather than the golden oldies. So that's great. Thank you, Jackie, for the fantastic reminders. I really appreciate that. So how are you getting on, Kath? I can talk a bit longer.
I'm getting on. Yes,
yeah.
I'm fine. I'm nearly there.
Okay.
It's all popped through. I'm just pushing using my pokey tool.
Right, I've made you big.
Okay, so we're all popped through. It's looking very creased.
Oh,
and we've got our turning gap here, which will go under. Tend to put some clips on there to push it under. Sorry, I'm fiddling now when you can't see, but I'm not going to fiddle very much more. As I said, it does take a little bit of patience, but it will actually go, and you will need to do that closure there with some hand stitching if you don't want it to show. So all we need to do now is to give it a really good press. So I'll just do a little bit of a quick job on it. Just for a moment, close my zip, fold it over.
Oh, that looks great.
And there we have Farrah, as in Fawcett Majors. Does anybody remember Farrah Fawcett Majors?
Oh, I loved her hair.
Blonde hair, and yes.
She was lovely, wasn't she?
Her husband wasn't bad either, was he?
Well, no, he's all right.
So apart from the clips, which I'm not going to show you, there is our beautiful
Super.
Farrah.
Absolutely super. Who loves it? Tell us in the comments who loves it.
Now, the one thing I was going to say about it is that I'll do it just while the camera's down a moment. Is that this here? I can get my finger in there, and it will still do up. So if you've got loads of coins or loads of cards, it will still do up.
Yeah, brilliant.
All right, and also I can do it. If you've got hardly anything in there but some banknotes and you want security, I can do it tighter. That's why we did a longer piece of Velcro there.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's pretty.
Absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll stitch the turning gap. I'll make it look super gorgeous, and I'll pop it in the photos for you in the group. Is that going to stay up? I think it is. I'm still wonky though. Oh no, I was better before.
All sort of that way or that way. It looks absolutely super, Kath. It really does. I think that's going to be such a useful make.
It's very pretty, isn't it, this one? It really does need some steam.
Yes.
That gap needs to be closed. It really could do with some steam to get that Decaville to really harden off then when it's cool.
Yes,
and it'll be... It's really, you can see it stands up on its own with that.
It's brilliant, brilliant. And of course it would be stuffed full of money. Well,
full of money. Yes, mine's usually stuffed full of rubbish. Paracetamol and, receipts that I don't need to keep. And,
all that sort of stuff.
Doggy bags, everything goes in my purse.
Yeah, doggy bags. Why is it that we always have to end up holding the doggy bags? It's really annoying. Oh dear.
So yes, it is like Archie, and no, it's not like Archie at all.
Yeah. So, well, the idea was to revamp it and to make it just a little bit bigger, and do the purse differently, because not everybody wants to do a letterbox zip. And that, I thought that was a brilliant idea. So although, I mean, gosh, a wallet is a wallet is a wallet, isn't it? You can't keep reinventing the wheel. But what you've done is you've enhanced and